Over recent years, the NC500 has been subject to a lot of rumours, endless amounts of gossip, and some wild myths, including the NC500 is always gridlocked with traffic, you have to do it in a camper van or motorhome, the locals hate tourists, you can wild camp anywhere, it's just a driving route, you don't need to stop, it's overhyped, it's just social media hype. So it's my job as a travel writer and road trip lover to get to the bottom of this. Now, I've drove the NC500 multiple times over the last 5 years, most recently in August 2025, to find out what's true, what's overblown, and what the locals think. This is NC500 myth busting. Let's get into it. So if you're unaware of who I am, my name is Robbie Romes. I write travel guides for a living and produce travel content for YouTube. Many of you may know I actually wrote an NC500 guidebook, which since went on to become the best-selling guidebook. Now, if you're interested, just scan the QR code on the screen. I'll put it here somewhere if you want to get your own copy. Now, I've actually driven the NC500 in every season of the year in both camper vans, cars, staying at both campsites, hotels, Airbnbs, and glamping pods. Since I launched the NC500 guidebook, I've literally talked to hundreds of travelers at events and exhibitions, even on the road, about this magical road trip, and I've listened to experiences both positive and negative. I've also spoken to numerous NC500 campsite owners, business owners, restaurant owners, and people local to the route. Now, because of this, I think I'm in a well-rounded position to give some answers to some of these myths. So let's get into it. Myth number one, the NC500 is always gridlocked with traffic. Now, one of the most common reasons people seem to be put off doing the NC500 is that they've heard that it's too busy. It's a victim of its own success, and it's always gridlocked with traffic. Now, I remember speaking to a guy at the NEC Caravan and Motorhome show earlier this year, and he said something along the lines of, I won't bother with the NC500, it's too busy. My immediate response was, oh, when did you last visit? And his answer was, well, I've never actually been, it's just something I've read online. See, the thing is with negative rumours, you've got to take them with a pinch of salt. The people who have had a bad experience usually shout the loudest, whilst those who had a brilliant trip just quietly get on with their memories and their own photos. So a few angry posts online can make it sound like the whole route is a disaster, when in reality, that's just a small slice of the story. So how bad is it? From my experience, speaking to hundreds and hundreds of travellers, for the majority of the year, this is a non-event, meaning it's simply not an issue most of the time. In peak season, towards the end of May, July, early August and early September, there's going to be certain stretches around North Coast villages like Durness and Applecross where the route is usually busier than usual. Any congestion happens at single track lanes, lay-by, photo spots, just not the main roads. In fact, the route in 2025 as a whole is definitely quieter than 2024. Now, I've spoke to campsite owners, and bearing one or two sites, the consensus is that visitor numbers are definitely down. In fact, some are genuinely concerned at the drop in tourists. Now, many people are actually put off by these rumours and simply don't come. Now, to give you an idea from my own personal perspective, I visited in the last week of August with my wife, and we had many of the beaches, the beauty spots completely to ourselves. I remember driving a stretch of road, and I think we were on there for about an hour, and we only spotted one other vehicle. We also stopped at the Colescoop Bridge, and I think I counted 2 vehicles in 30 minutes of being there. Another thing to understand is that a majority of travellers are going to do the route anti-clockwise. So if you're going clockwise, you'll be fighting the traffic at every single one of these single track roads, and that's going to add to the feeling that it's busy. This is something I've actually saw on a recent video by Touring with the Kids. They lent into the belief that it was busy and overcrowded, and I tend to think this was because they were going the opposite direction to most of the travellers, and it was at the start of September too. So to summarise, on the whole, the NC500 isn't always gridlocked with traffic. Visitor numbers are declining for a fact, and there are certain stretches of road, at certain times of the year, especially in the summer, that are definitely busier than usual. But even then, we're not talking M25 levels of traffic. Top tip, visit outside the peak periods. Avoid school holidays if possible. Early May, June, late August and late September are perfect times to visit if you want to try and get better weather with quieter roads. If you can go the rest of the year, it's going to be even quieter. Myth number 2, you have to do it in a camper van or a motorhome. Now for me, this one's a quick and easy one to solve. You don't have to do it in either of these vehicles. While driving the route in a camper van or a motorhome gives you freedom of staying at some beautiful campsites, parking up for a cup of tea or a sandwich along the way, it's not the only way to do it. Now, if you're in a car or a motorbike, you're actually more nimble, you're more agile, and you can have no worries tackling some of the famous roads like the Blackner Bar and the Drumbeglu. So yeah, it doesn't matter what vehicle you do it in, just remember to drive responsibly and you're going to have the time of your life. Myth number 3, the locals hate tourists. Now, there have been very rare cases of arguments and altercations between locals and tourists. And by the way, I'm going to explain why these have been justified. But on the whole, to say locals hate tourists, it's pretty far from the truth. So what exactly has caused some locals to be angry? There have been challenges for sure, specifically a small minority of visitors to the NC500 that have acted irresponsibly by emptying black waste onto car parks and school playgrounds, leaving litter, starting damaging fires, parking directly outside house windows and in silly places, breaking the Scottish outdoor access codes, driving aggressively, treating the NC500 racetrack. The list goes on and on. I could be here till the cows come home. But I guess you have to ask the question, what if someone came into your street, your front garden, your local area and started doing these kind of things? You probably wouldn't be happy. And that being said, I don't condone any violence, and there have been many keyboard warriors that have posted abuse in the direction of visitors to the NC500. The solution here is simple. It's just about educating people to travel responsibly and calling out those who don't. Now, it goes without saying, 99% of the people that do the NC500 act responsibly. It's always the 1% that cause the issues and ruin it for the rest of us. Now, by the way, on my multiple visits to the NC500, I've never come across any local people that were angry, rude, aggressive, anything that could be interpreted as negative. I actually found folk up in the Scottish Highlands to be definitely the most friendly, the most hospitable I've probably ever come across. And that's why it baffles me that people are put off by doing the NC500. It's just not something I've come across. So to conclude this point, it's simply not true to generalise that locals hate tourists. As long as you act responsibly, shop locally, use restaurants, tour providers, campsites and so on, to be honest, you're going to be welcomed with open arms. There won't be any pitchforks or angry locals. It's just going to be a warm Scottish welcome. Myth number 4, you can wild camp anywhere. This is another interesting rumour I see online, and it's about wild camping. In this case, I'm talking specifically about camping with a tent, because that's what wild camping actually means in Scotland. Under Scotland's incredible outdoor access laws, you are actually allowed to camp responsibly on most unenclosed land, but that doesn't include parking a car or a camper van in a lay-by or setting up on private farmland. If you plan to go wild camping, you've got to really read up on the Scottish Outdoor Access Code. It explains the basics, you've got to be following. You should be on foot, choosing a suitable low impact location. Always follow the leave no trace principle. In other words, just pitch your tent late, leave early, and make sure this spot that you found looks exactly how you found it. If you do that, you're always going to be welcome back in Scotland. So no, you can't wild camp anywhere on the NC500, but if you follow the SOAC, you'll have plenty of places to do it legally. Myth number 5, it's just a driving route, you don't need to stop. Now this myth always baffles me. I occasionally get comments saying, yes Robbie, just done the NC500 in 2 days. And I'm like, are you absolutely stupid? Like, you've drove potentially 10 hours to get up to the Highlands. You've got to drive 10 hours home and you've raced around the NC500 in 2 days. See, the thing is, you'd be an absolute fool to do that in my opinion. You've got zero chance of stopping to see all the must-see locations. You'll get no time to enjoy the best foodie spots, to walk on the best beaches, to make incredible memories, and there's so much to see up there. Honestly, this way of doing it is just bonkers. Now, most of the roads are dramatic and exciting, but the real joy for me is what you find along the way by stopping. So no, it's not a racetrack. It's not just a driving route. It's a full-blown adventure. My top tip, take at least 5 days to 7 days or more is definitely better, but 5 is always the absolute minimum that I recommend. And the last myth, number 6, it's overhyped, it's just social media hype. This one always makes me laugh because I've never heard a single person that's done the NC500 say anything like this. Yes, the YouTube videos look amazing, the Instagram photos are incredible, and that's because it's simple as that. I've took many photos that I've posted that look amazing, and all the cynical people watching might say, well, he's going to say it's good because he wants to sell his guidebook, he's got a guidebook on it. Trust me, I've been telling people how incredible this route is long before I started selling guidebooks. In fact, it's one of the reasons I actually started making them in the first place. Believe it or not, we have some of the world's best road trips right here on our doorstep. The NC500 is simply one of them. And guess what? So's the Outer Hebrides, so's Ireland, so's the Lake District, so's Northumberland. The list really does go on and on and on. Now, whilst the NC500 is popular, that doesn't mean it's overhyped. It's popular and it's posted about online because of genuinely how good it is. I think it's as simple as that. And when you guys go there, if it's your first time, you'll see what I'm talking about. So yeah, there we have it. Hopefully I've covered a lot in this video, and I've done it in a way that helps put these myths and rumours into some kind of context. if you're planning your own NC500 trip, don't be put off. This really is a road trip you have to do at least once in your lifetime. If you do head up there, just make sure you travel responsibly, put yourselves in the shoes of the locals, and just do what you can to support them. Shopping locally, staying on campsites, local hotels, just generally being a good human being. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel further, please check out my best-selling NC500 guidebook, which actually gets updated 3 times per year to ensure everything is up to date. So yeah, just go and head to robbieroams.com to order it. You're going to get free Tracked UK delivery. Also go and check out my Instagram at robbieroams, and feel free to leave me a comment below. If you've done the NC500, have I sort of answered these myths? Have I busted these myths correctly? It's going to be interesting to know. But yeah, I'm going to see you very soon in the next video. We've got plenty of new destinations coming up on the channel. I'm going to see you then.